Hello and welcome back to my garden. We're actually in front of my house right now because today, if it wasn't obvious with the title, because I'm not even sure I'm going to title this video, we're going to wrap up the spring tour series with the house beds, and then we're going to take a quick jump out into the orchard. So without further ado, let's get this tour started. Now, there's nothing really spectacular about my front garden bed on this side so far this year, although I'm hoping that later in the summer and definitely later towards the fall, some of this stuff will really come alive. One of the things that I'd like to mention is my bordering. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to border this bed, and I really would like to border this bed so it sort of reflects the other side of the house beds, but I haven't decided anything yet. Maybe that'll be a winter project. We'll have to wait and see. The one thing I do want to say before I bring you guys in close is that a lot of the stuff I've planted has survived. Now, some of the stuff has gotten nibbled on recently by deer, but that's to be expected when you live in deer country. But again, most of the stuff here has survived. So let me bring you in close and show you some of the plants. We're going to start off right here with my rose campion. Nothing has really changed with that. In fact, they almost seem stunted in growth. I'm not sure what that's all about. If you guys know anything about rose campions, please feel free to leave a comment below. A couple of dahlias there are rocking, looking good. There's another dahlia here that's looking good. This salvia over here, Royal Bride, hanging in there. I'm gonna have to give it a little cut back so it'll reflush in the fall. Over here, I have some carnations. They recently got nibbled on by deer. I don't know if you could see that, but they're still alive and hopefully they'll bounce back again later in the year. Over here, for the first time in the 2+ years that I've had this, my sea holly is growing and does not look like the deer have nibbled on it at all, which is fantastic. Back here I have another peony, not doing well. It's alive, but it has never put on a flower yet, and I'm thinking about digging it up and moving it with a few other peonies out into the flower garden, perhaps later this year, maybe towards the fall. I'm not sure. Leave a comment. I don't think this pineapple lily is going to flower this year because the deer have come by and had a nice snack and devoured it pretty hard, including, I don't know if you can again see that, there's a stalk right there. That would have been a flowering stalk. So maybe it'll push back up new leaves and maybe it'll push up a new stalk later in the year. And then of course, hydrangea right here. Deer do love hydrangea, but they did not touch the hydrangea so far this year. So that's a good thing. I also have one on the other side of the deck, which I'll show you in a second. I'm not sure about the variant there, but it is doing well so far. And again, the deer haven't touched it. My wife potted up these, I believe these are petunias. Yeah, petunias, pink. They look lovely here on the deck, and they're surviving the heat so far, and it is getting quite warm. They do get to be a bit of a struggle to keep alive once the temperatures start getting into the 90s, but right now they look lovely on the steps to the front deck there. Speaking of the front deck, here are those hostas that I potted up a few months ago, and they're all doing quite well. I've been keeping them well watered, and in fact, I'm so happy that the deer have not decided to come up on the deck and try to eat them that I'm going to get another hosta or two soon, and perhaps I'll just put them over here on this side. We'll have to wait and see. If these hostas do look like they're suffering from too much sun, I can always move them back. It's with beauty of them being in pots. Let's look at the other side of the porch. You may have noticed I'm not hitting on every single plant in the flower beds. Trying to keep these video tours short, but let me just pick on a couple of the highlights here. This red hot poker is just extraordinary. It's been extraordinary. It's been doing crazy things this year with the flowering. Love it. And I think in the fall I'm going to dig it up and divide it because I think it needs it. Finally, lupine coming up over here. I planted the seeds. They're coming up. They're looking good. I'm pretty happy about that. The deer have not gotten into my daylilies yet, which I'm surprised about, but I will take it and enjoy it. Behind them, sunflowers. They came up from the seeds that got dropped from the bird feeder above them. And in the container down here, calendula, doing well. And hopefully that survives next few weeks maybe, and we start getting some flowers out of that. I have a echinacea of some sort, not sure which this one is. It might be green twister, not 100% sure, but it's doing well. A dahlia right next to a lemon gem marigold. Two of them are doing very, very well. Some echinaceas which aren't doing so well are these. They got nibbled on by deer, but they survive and they're doing well. A few of the Rudbeckias. I have an agapanthus back here which has not done so well. Not sure why. But this agapanthus over here, it's from I propagated it and it's doing well. Clary sage back here, hanging in there, doing well. Hopefully it starts flowering this year. In front of it, I have Shasta daisy, and it is just ginormous. There's 2 or 3 plants here, and they are just incredible, which is wonderful. More red hot poker, another volunteer sunflower hanging in there. Over here, I have a few Japanese variegated irises. They're doing well. And then I have a giant southern blue flag iris here. I'm not sure if I should be dividing that this year, although I'm thinking maybe. Any thoughts or comments, please leave them below. Couple of mums. Mums are doing well. These are starting to flower, and the ones in front of them, they're going to be flowering probably in the next few weeks. Down here at the corner, I have some elephant here. They're doing well. And then there's a foxglove. Many of the foxgloves are done flowering and they're already going to seed. Oak leaf hydrangea coming down alongside what I call the driveway bed here. See, this is a foxglove which is already going to seed. I'm just shaking the seed out into the surrounding areas because free seed, free plants, and I love the foxgloves. Another couple of elephant ears and a stilby in the background. That's looking really nice. Followed by a cana. I'm not sure of the name of that one, but it's looking good. I don't know if you guys can see that, but back here we have a agapanthus that's getting ready to flower. Then I have the little gem magnolia, and that one's looking good. It's already done some flowering. It'll probably do maybe a little flowering again later in the year. Not sure about that, but it looks good for now. Pintomix coleus, looking good, and the deer have already nibbled on the flower stalk, it looks like. Again, a lot more of the foxgloves back there. Another oak leaf hydrangea. This one looks good, looks better than the other one. Now this one last year was looking rough and the other one was looking better, but that's the way it goes sometimes. These are cardinal flower, although the deer again nibbled on it, so it is what it is. And then at the end of this bed are my various ferns. This is autumn brilliance. In the very back, although it's hard to tell, I have ostrich fern, and then all the way over here on the side I have Japanese painted fern. So now we're out in my orchard, and my orchard is not spectacular at the moment, although it's something that I am going to be working on the next few years to try to make it more spectacular. But I do have numerous fruit trees here, and I'm going to give you a quick look at some of those trees and what they're doing currently and what's happening. Here is one of my 2 peach trees, and as you can see, putting on some fruit. And all the fruit right now looks pretty good. I did do some thinning where I removed quite a bit of fruit from these trees so as to not to overload the branches, because these trees are still quite small, as you can see. But hopefully I get at least 4 to 5 good fruits off of them, off of this tree at least. The other tree down here is similar. This tree here has quite a few less branches, I think, but it also has fruit on it. And again, I thinned it out so as to not overload the branches, but looking good, pretty good so far. Over here, I have an apple tree, believe it or not. You may be able to see it right there. That's the top of it right now. The reason I have this fence around it was to keep the deer away from it, because they kept assaulting it and eating it down. But it has survived over the years. And a few years ago, I put some compost around the base, which I knew didn't get hot enough to cook off all the weed seeds. But what I didn't expect there to be is a lot of verbena seeds and some foxglove seeds. Now the foxgloves have gone over, and now they're going to seed, and I've been shaking the seed out so I can get more of it. But the verbena is just absolutely nuts, looking great. And what has happened, I think, is a happy little accident. And although it does still look like a bit of a weedy mess, it is a colorful weedy mess. Think of it as a little wildflower meadow. Hopefully in a couple of years the tree gets large enough I can remove this fencing, but then I will still keep the foxgloves and the verbenas and anything else that comes up around it, because I think it looks very, very nice. Over here is an apple tree. This is my oldest apple tree. This is a Gala apple tree, and doing quite well. The deer have not assaulted it this year, although I am being assaulted currently by deer flies. And yeah, they're biting and it hurts. But I'm trying to hold the camera steady for you guys. Around the base here, I think I'm going to try to do the same thing. Maybe I'll throw some daffodil bulbs at the base, and maybe some verbena cuttings and that kind of thing, just to give it a sort of carefree little wild garden there at the base. It just might be something a little nicer to look at instead of just bare grass. There's my oldest apple tree, and here is my youngest, newest apple tree. This one is a Red Delicious, and got it as a bare root, and it's doing quite well. And hopefully I can remove this fencing from it maybe next year. Again, just trying to keep the deer off of the tree itself, because especially the baby deer, even the adult deers, they like to nibble on the fresh new growth. Over here I have a pawpaw tree, doing quite well, still surviving, thriving. Then I have another pawpaw tree, again, still surviving, thriving. This one actually put on flowers this year. I see no signs of fruit yet, nor do I expect there to be any fruit. But hopefully in another 2 to 3 years, it starts putting on fruit, along with this one, which is its much bigger friend. This one again, doing really well. Looks like it's put about maybe 6 inches foot of growth this year. And hopefully again in another 2 to 3 years, it too starts putting on fruit, and my wife can have her delicious pawpaws. Over here, my fig tree. Don't ask me the variant, I have no idea. I had to put the cage around it because the deer, again, were getting frisky with the tree. I put a bunch of compost around the base to sort of help fertilize the soil, as it were, and I threw in some random flower seeds. No idea if any of them will germinate and or outpace the grass as it grows, but we will see. Maybe not this year, maybe next year. There is this one lone verbena hanging in there, doing quite well, and just adds a little color to this otherwise colorless area. So that's pretty much it for my orchard, and I hope over the next few years, as the trees get bigger, I can add a little more color with some various other plantings maybe around the bases of the trees. And later this year we will be back, because basically right along this line here we'll be putting in a hedge, and that will be a project that I will take you guys along for. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, click that bell icon to be notified when I do post a new video. This way maybe it'll be something that you're interested in, whether I'm out in the veg garden, the flower garden, or here out in the orchard putting in a new hedge or something else fun and exciting. No Sophie today. She's off getting her hair cut, because if you guys remember the last couple of videos, she was looking really scruffy. Cute, but scruffy. So she's off getting her hair cut right now. And so hopefully she'll be in the next video and making sure that I do things right here in the garden. Please check out all the links below in the description, or go over to growinggreenfinger.com and see what's new over there. There's so much coming up in the upcoming weeks, because even though we're about to get into summer, the projects don't stop, and there's a lot to do out here in the garden. So I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.